from the Digital Production Center at Troy University, with news from across America and around the globe. This is TrojanVision Global News.
This is TrojanVision Global News, where we'll give you a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world. I'm Victoria Sibinina. Here is what's making the news on March 23, 2015. The 2016 presidential campaign has begun for Senator Ted Cruz. Foregoing the typical step of forming an exploratory committee, the Texas Republican announces his run for the White House. Andrew Spencer reports Cruz is the first person to do so among both Republicans and Democrats in what is expected to be a crowded race.
Senator Ted Cruz officially starts his run for the White House, releasing this campaign video overnight.
It's going to take a new generation of courageous conservatives to help make America great again. And I'm ready to stand with you to lead the fight.
The video posted to Cruz's Twitter account just after midnight. He's the first major party candidate to announce a 2016 presidential bid, but he won't be the last. A recent CNN ORC poll gauged the support among 13 different potential Republican candidates, with Cruz near the middle of the pack.
He likes to use the word populist, grassroots, regular folks. Certainly not the donor class. That's not generally what he's been courting. He's running in a lane that is really for the grassroots activists to try to jump on board.
The first-term senator from Texas has quickly made a name for himself in Washington. In 2013, he gave a 21-hour speech on the Senate floor as part of a filibuster, punctuating a conservative fight against Obamacare, which resulted in a 17-day government shutdown.
While he's definitely going to be able to appeal to the right wing of his party, but the mainstream electorate who will elect the president, I think is sort of out of touch with Senator Cruz right now.
Cruz plans to announce his presidential campaign in person at Virginia's Liberty University later this morning. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
A day after a pack of pit bulls mauled a man to death in Arkansas, authorities are working hard to ensure the owner will be prosecuted. Ken Buffer reports.
It's just unfortunate, tragically.
Major Lafayette Woods with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says the owner of the pack of pit bulls at CJ's garage on Thomas Road will face consequences for his dog's attack.
We will vigorously pursue prosecution.
Saturday morning, deputies say a pack of 7 pit bulls mauled 36-year-old Derek Johnson to death. 4 dogs were killed, 2 others were captured, and 1 is on the loose.
Nobody should lose their life like that in that manner.
These dogs have a history of aggression, according to authorities, including biting one man who reported the incident and biting another man who deputies say did not comply with the investigation. Because of a 1995 ordinance, police say a first offense dog attack usually does not remove the dogs from the owners, but multiple reports will take the dogs away.
Possibly. We would have had the information. There would have been more fuel, so to speak, for the fire to show the history of the known disposition of these animals.
The deadly mauling was described by witnesses as gruesome, but deputies do not want the breed of the dog to take all the blame.
It is not the breed. It is the irresponsible owners who actually train these dogs or ignore the obvious signs of aggression in these animals. That's what makes these animals deadly.
We're learning more about the mysterious case of one successful Florida businessman whose death has been disputed for years. That man was actually found alive Saturday. Jose Lantiaga was the former owner of 2 Circle K furniture stores in Jacksonville. It's believed that he was dead the past 2 years, but he was arrested during a traffic stop in North Carolina. Now that Lantiaga was found alive, it appears he'll have a lot of questions to answer. He faces insurance fraud charges totaling $9 million from several companies. Mark White reports.
Charlie Jimerson represents American Enterprise Bank. He says his client is owed millions after Jose Lantigua faked his own death.
Well, I was shocked. I'm still trying to process this. My head's spinning a bit, but given some of the allegations that have been thrown against the wall, there's a lot of my gut that's unsurprised by this.
The Lantigua family attorney even said that his wife had Jose Lantigua's death certificate in ashes, but several other insurance companies argued that he was alive and well, living in South America.
There's a lot of financial ramifications as Mr. Lantigua's scheme of deceit is pretty elaborate. I imagine there's a lot of creditors who are going to want to know where their money went.
It's believed Lantigua went shopping around for insurance policies. In 2013, The former business owner said that he had a terminal illness. He allegedly falsified insurance documents, provided those documents to creditors, and promised collateral to get cash. Charlie Jimerson says that he hopes his client gets the money owed back to them.
And that saga is just beginning, as well as the criminal fallout of Mr. Lantigua and his wife and perhaps others being involved in this scheme to defraud creditors and insurance companies.
Evidence is how ISIS recruits its members were found. We'll have that and more here on TrojanVision Global News.
With more news from across the nation and around the globe, TrojanVision will return in 2 minutes.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
So I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
The warrior spirit. It's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Keeping you up to date with news from around the globe, this is Troy TrojanVision Global News.
Now to a CNN exclusive. They have videos showing ISIS recruiters trying to convince Afghans to join the terror groups fighting Syria. It is further evidence of ISIS attempts to expand its reach across the region, not just in Afghanistan, but in all the countries you see here. All this comes as Afghan President Ashraf Ghani makes his first official visit to the U.S. CNN's Nick Payton-Walsh reports.
Where there has long been faith and war, in Afghanistan's serene hills, a new and modern plague has now come. You're seeing rare pictures filmed by our cameraman of what we are told is an ISIS recruitment session in Afghanistan. Brothers, I'm here to tell you, the recruiter says, about the Mujahideen in Syria. After a decade of war, the Taliban is strong but fractured, and the US is leaving. The UN warns ISIS is getting a foothold in Afghanistan, and this may be how. This Afghan says he's come back from fighting in northern Syria and is one of 5 recruiters whose pitch is simple. Come fight true jihad for ISIS head Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi for a $500 wage. Some listeners are driven. My aim is to fight infidels, one says, in Syria, or if they ask me to, in Afghanistan, I will. Others unsure and just poor. I definitely need the money, but will stay here and hope peace comes, one adds. There's a bit of theatre here, ISIS application forms for them to complete on camera, but also a clear message to angry young Afghans disillusioned with the Taliban's wars. There's now an even more ruthless choice you can make, ISIS. Nick Payton-Walsh, CNN, Kabul.
A local pizzeria in Naples, the home of pizza, caught up to the Pope's motorcade to deliver a proper welcome after hearing of a craving the pontiff has had since taking office. CNN's Becky Anders has this story.
He may be a proud Argentinian, but that's not to say the man born Jorge Mario Bergoglio, better known today as Pope Francis, doesn't have some distinctly Italian tastes. When asked in a recent interview what he missed the most since taking on the top job in the Catholic Church, the pontiff's reply took some by surprise.
The only thing I would like is to go out one day without being recognised and go to a pizzeria for a pizza, he said.
Hearing of the Pope's visit to the home of pizza, the city of Naples, one enterprising resident decided to make the Holy Father's day.
While I was making the pizzas for my clients, I heard the Pope's car coming, and I got ready. While his car was approaching, I jumped over the fence and I gave him the pizza. And with a smile, he said, "Thank you."
As it turns out, the Pope isn't the only global icon to have savoured the delights of the family business, Pizzeria Don Ernesto.
In 1994, my dad did a little pizza for American President Bill Clinton. And yesterday, when I got to know the Pope was in town, I decided to make a pizza and give it to him as a gift.
Enzo's still waiting to hear whether Pope Francis enjoyed his experience, but the pizza chef certainly has a belly full of pride.
It's really hard for me to understand what I managed to do. Giving a pizza you made with your own hands to the Pope is very emotional. It's really hard for me to express the value of this gesture for a man we really love and value, for a beautiful person full of humanity.
And with clientele like this, perhaps Enzo can expect a heaven-sent boost to his business. Becky Anderson, CNN.
The US military has pulled the last of its personnel out of Yemen. Saturday night, the State Department said about 100 Special Operations Forces had already been evacuated from the Al Anad air base. Officials say the move is due to continued civil unrest in the country, but some are concerned about fallout here at home. Andy Rose reports.
These developments in Yemen greatly disturb me because of their potential to attack the United States.
The State Department says the deteriorating security situation has forced the U.S. to pull about 100 Navy SEALs and Army Delta Force members from the country. Officials call the move a temporary relocation. House Homeland Security Chairman Michael McCall told ABC this week he's worried about the consequences of a U.S. withdrawal.
We will have no intelligence footprint or capabilities to monitor what AQAP and ISIS and the Shia militants are doing in the region. And without good intelligence stops plots against the homeland. Without that intelligence, we cannot effectively stop it.
Historically, the United States has worked with Yemen's government to combat al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. The terrorist group is based there, but recent internal strife has rocked that relationship. The U.S. closed its embassy in Sana'a in February. Friday, Yemen's state-run news agency reported at least 137 people were killed in two separate explosions at mosques in the capital. Hundreds more were injured. ISIS claimed responsibility, though CNN hasn't confirmed that. The incident prompted this response from the White House.
We're seeing extremists try to capitalize on the chaos and instability inside of Yemen to carry out these acts of violence.
Sunday, the United Nations Security Council met to discuss the situation. The advisor to the Secretary General on Yemen urged all sides to find a way to avert a civil war. I'm Andy Rose reporting.
One of the workers in Utah National Park caught tuberculosis, and some people found a new way to lose weight. More on that after the break.
With more news from across the nation and around the globe, Troy Trojan Vision will return in 2 minutes.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed
awful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
This is Dr. Jack Hawkins. He is the Chancellor of Troy University and a veteran. One of his proudest achievements is helping our military build great careers. That's the warrior spirit.
Now, news for your life from Troy TrojanVision Global News.
Broadway musical fans have a new way to get healthy. Holly Furfer shows us the new trend, turning your show-tuned faves into workout routines in today's Health Minute.
Tired of this? Running for what seems like forever, getting nowhere except to the land of boredom? Well, then you might try this. It's called Broadway Fitness.
I teach a musical theater class where I sort of go through a sort of explain a little bit about the history of the musical and teach some of the original choreography that was set when I was on Broadway, and then I teach sort of an all-level class, so most people can have access to it and do it.
But it's not just a dance class, it's a workout.
Any type of dance really has a fitness quality to it, because without you thinking about it, there's sort of cardiovascular elements to it. You're toning your body without you knowing it.
There's another benefit, fall prevention. According to the CDC, 1 out of 3 older adults fall each year, and falls are the most common cause of traumatic brain injuries. These dance moves help strengthen balance and coordination. For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
A worker at the national park in Utah has tested positive for tuberculosis. Park officials confirmed the case on Thursday. Tasmin Mahfouz has more details on the new case and if in Pleasant Park, visitors should be worried.
It was a busy day at Zion National Park when officials announced that one of their employees was diagnosed with tuberculosis.
We contacted the Utah Public Health Department and the Public Health Department of the National Park Service, and they came and they started investigations as to who this person might have been in contact with and where this person was at.
The park says they found out that the employee who worked at Zion Lodge had the infectious disease on March 13th.
He is feeling tired, weak, he was getting coughing, and those are all signs that it could have something to do with tuberculosis, and it was confirmed.
Other symptoms include fever, night sweats, and weight loss. The Utah Department of Health says TB is a serious disease that affects the lungs, but can also spread throughout the body. If untreated, the disease may be deadly. Officials say the employee was never in direct contact with visitors at his job, but other employees are now being evaluated for TB.
In fact, there were around 6 people who we thought that might have been in close enough contact with this person that needed to be looked at, and those people are under surveillance now and also being checked.
People at the park, though, say they're not worried.
As long as they're taking precautions and doing things to make it better, I think should be fine.
Honestly, if I were staying at the lodge, I still don't think I would be alarmed by it.
And Zion officials say it's safe for people to visit.
We feel at this time that we got to this case quickly enough, and the patient himself also quickly went to the doctor, and we feel that there is very, very little or possibly no risk of other people being affected, especially any public that were here.
Park officials say the man has been quarantined and is being treated at a medical facility.
A photograph from a 10K race in Kentucky is going viral. It's not of the winner or even a medal ceremony. It shows a woman determined not to give up, crossing the finish line hand in hand with her son and the police officer, two people who have her going. Casey Cunningham has her story.
When you see the photo, just know that you're worth it and you can do anything that you put your mind to.
2 years in and 217 pounds lighter, Asia Ford is on a journey to be strong and healthy for her 3 children.
I just knew that all of those times we went to the doctor's office and the doctor told us what could have happened, I wasn't going to let that happen to me.
So stopping during the Road City Run, not an option. But mile after mile, step after step, getting unbearable.
My breath was kind of like, it felt like it was taken from me.
You know, the EMS guys got out and talked to her, went to check on her, and she's like, I'm not stopping, I'm not stopping. So she kept going.
And he said, you're going to finish the race, aren't you? I was like, yes.
And I said, I'm not going to let her stop. We're going to do this together. I got out, and she grabbed my hand, I grabbed her hand.
So step by step soon became the last mile. And then Asia, her son, and Lieutenant Gregory crossed the finish line hand in hand.
And watching her go across that line, raising her hands, I felt that all over. You know, it was a great moment.
For him, I knew that that was my angel at the time because at mile 5 was where I was going to give up.
Asia's son Terrence held her other hand. He'll tell you he has a new hero.
Looking at her and how she used to be and how she is now is inspirational, and it makes me want to push harder to do the things that I want to do in life.
And a new perspective on those in blue.
With all the stuff that's going on now with police, and it's nice to know that there's good people out there.
The very reason Lieutenant Gregory wears his badge every day.
That is what being a police officer is about. You know, a service to others, helping.
And his helping hand to Asia became her inspiration to continue.
I'm thankful to you because you are my angel. You're that person that I could have stopped. That could have been the end of my race, but you didn't allow it. So I praise you and I thank you, and you're my inspiration.
Stay tuned for what impressed people on New York streets, next on TrojanVision Global News.
With more news from across the nation and around the globe, TrojanVision will return in 2 minutes.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on a sidewalk?
Yes.
Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that.
Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
You were supposed to make a right, but you made a left. And it's okay, you found your way. On a personal note, as I was counseling the two of you,
This is Dr. Daniel Smith. He's an expert in domestic and international economics, but his proudest achievement is helping his students accomplish more than they ever thought possible. That's the warrior spirit.
Keeping you up to date with news from around the globe, this is TrojanVision Global News.
A Grammy winner spread the happiness internationally, and the diva marks her return to the stage. Rob Kirkpatrick has those stories and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Because he's happy, singer-songwriter Pharrell Williams traded the concert stage for the UN. He was on hand to celebrate International Happiness Day with over 1,200 middle schoolers.
You should know that happiness is your birthright. It's a reaction to something or someone or a moment.
Williams also stressed the importance of climate change and what the next generation can do to help. The show must go on. People magazine reports Celine Dion is headed back to the Vegas Strip Nearly 1 year after canceling shows due to her husband's cancer diagnosis, she plans to return to the stage in August. Celine is in the middle of her second residency at Caesars Palace. The first one raked in a whopping $400 million in ticket sales.
You are the key, Tris, to rescue what little civilization we have left.
Insurgent opened big at the box office this weekend, knocking Cinderella down to second place, and Run All Night took the number 3 spot. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Rob Kirkpatrick.
A Wyoming man loves being a car salesman so much. He's been at it for nearly 7 decades. Daryl Alexander sold his first car in 1949, and he's still selling it for 100 years old. Ray Bogan was there as he celebrated the birthday milestone.
Customers lined up in White's Mountain Chevrolet, but this time not to buy. They were wishing an old friend a very happy birthday.
You always brought a whole bunch of
Daryl works 6 days a week and doesn't take vacation. He even sings to the young guys who say they need a day off.
Pick a fine time to leave me, Lucille.
He says being happy in life is simple.
He's upstairs.
When it comes to selling, he claims he doesn't have a secret, at least one he'll share. But his customers say it's honesty, like Alan Sword, who got tired of waiting for his wife in surgery, left the doctor's office, and came back with his first new car, a Chevrolet from Daryl.
If you know him, he's a great guy. Maybe I've missed sales that I didn't lie to him. But that's okay.
His family is proud and says Daryl has always put his family first. They feel blessed to celebrate his 100th birthday with him.
It's amazing. I never in a million years thought it.
Will Daryl ever retire? Doubtful. His son-in-law says, although it's not as easy as it used to be, he'll work to the day he died.
And I think someday what he wants is to be sitting there in front of that fireplace, and that's his last day.
But for now, there's still a strong fire in Daryl's heart.
It's pretty hard to stand out in the crowd these days, especially on the busy streets of New York City. But one little guy is making a huge impression. Cindy Sue has his story.
He's about 3 weeks old. Yeah.
Meet Smokey the Lamb, who's become quite the star.
It felt kind of biblical. I felt like it was like kind of a nativity scene type situation.
I don't know. I mean, chill. I love lambs.
Maxine Scher is Smokey's foster mother. He was born just a few weeks ago at Violet Hill Farm in upstate New York, but was rejected by his mother.
They sense that something's wrong with them, or they're, the runt of the litter. They can't feed. So then they get really cold, and this guy was actually freezing to death.
So Maxine and her boyfriend took him in at 4 days old and started caring for him at their apartment. He's now out of diapers because he doesn't like them, but he's not quite potty trained.
Just constant cleaning and attention and cuddling and feeding.
He gets formula from a bottle 3 times a day, and since he goes all over the place with his foster parents, he's become a social media sensation and even has his own hashtag, Smokey the Lamb. Maxine says it takes forever to walk anywhere with him.
Everyone's stopping, everyone's asking questions.
Such as?
Is he a goat or a llama or a kangaroo?
He has made some friends along the way, like Arthur the dog.
The first time he definitely sniffed him and couldn't stop just to see what he was all about. And now I think it's just kind of turned more to jealousy since he gets so much attention now.
Now once Smokey is old enough to eat on his own, he's going to head back to Violet Hill Farm. But his New York City parents plan to keep tabs on him and make sure he lives a very full life. That means he won't end up being someone's dinner. On the Lower East Side, Cindy Shu, CBS 2 News.
And that wraps things up for us here on Trojan Vision Global News. For a look at what's going on a little closer to home, stay tuned for Trojan Vision News. I'm Victoria Sabinina. Thanks for joining us.
Stay tuned for more news after this on Troy Trojan Vision.
You store your guns properly.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
And I won't have to tell my kids, this isn't a drill.
Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Always lock it up.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.